got 1 dozen of Krispy Kreme's finest donuts. I personally always thought that Krispy Kreme was a little bit overrated, but I know some of you guys have asked about it, so I'm gonna try some Krispy Kreme donuts and let you know what I think. And on top of that, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to do a Q&A episode, so I gathered up a couple of questions from the comments and I wanna let you know a little bit more about myself. So let's get started with this. This is a powdered Marionberry donut. Now, if you don't know what a Marionberry is, it's kind of like a cross between a blackberry and a blueberry. They're tart and very flavorful berries. So let's try this out and see how it tastes. Man, I love donuts that are covered in powdered sugar. Unfortunately, the jelly on the inside doesn't have a distinct flavor to it. So not so great on that one. I'm gonna give it like maybe a 5 out of 10. Not the best donut out there. Well, I know a lot of you guys have asked about what I do to exercise and that kind of thing. I am first and foremost an endurance athlete. A couple of you guys have commented on the fact that sometimes I'll wear an Ironman triathlon shirt or like a marathon shirt or something. So that's mainly what I do, is lots of cardio. I lift weights every now and then, but not too often. So that's the way that I really burn as many calories as I do. And I'm able to, eat a ton of food every now and then and still not become super obese. Next donut. This looks like it's just a regular old sprinkled donut with some chocolate frosting on top. I feel like that kind of epitomizes why I don't think Krispy Kreme donuts live up to their hype. It's so light that it almost like dissolves in your mouth, which I know a lot of people might like, but I like more of a denser and heartier donut. I'm gonna give that one a 6 out of 10. I did like the chocolate frosting on top, that's very good. All right, I saw a comment from Juan Zapata, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He asked, what's your favorite fast food? So I don't really eat a ton of fast food, so that's why if you see me doing those Randy Santel fast food challenges, a lot of times I'll say that it's the first time that I've eaten that fast food in like 10 years. So if I was gonna go with my favorite fast food, I might say like Subway. I don't like eating a ton of meat, so like a burger joint or something, I tend to avoid those kinds of foods. So yeah, we'll say Subway. I do like a nice sandwich that's stacked with tons of lettuce and tons of peppers and that kind of thing. So thank you, Juan Zapata, for the question, and thank you for watching. All right, one more donut. This is one of their Chips Ahoy donuts. So let's see how it is. Looks like it might be filled with some kind of cream. I think that cream on the inside, yeah, that's like a cookie dough cream. Wow, that is really spectacularly good. And one little Chips Ahoy on top. That cookie dough cream on the inside of that donut is really, really good. I love cookie dough flavored things like cookie dough ice cream and everything like that. And just raw cookie dough, it's so delicious. So I'm gonna give that donut an 8 out of 10. Really great flavor. And yeah, really creative, I love it. So next up, have Warp asked, how do you get ready for these challenges? For different challenges, I take a look at what kind of food that I'm going to be eating, and I prepare my body for different types of food with different kinds of exercise and preparations. For example, if I'm going into a challenge with a ton of meat and a ton of protein in it, then I might go do some powerlifting earlier in the day to make sure that my body's really craving some protein. And that'll just help keep, lots of meat be a little bit more palatable for a little bit longer. Or if I'm going into a challenge that has a ton of salty food, I might spend a lot of time in a sauna, so I sweat out a bunch of salt. And then that helps, keep the salt really palatable. And like a lot of food challengers, I do tend to go really light on the food for about 24 hours before a challenge. I don't want to fast for too long, or else, you know, my stomach might shrink up, but I do make sure that I'm in a pretty heavy calorie deficit going into most challenges. Another cookie donut that they had at Krispy Kreme is their Nutter Butter Donut. So when I saw this, I thought, that's definitely gonna have to be delicious. Looks like it's like a tiger tail donut with a peanut butter covering and cookie crumbs on top. That is a really strong peanut butter flavor in there. Tastes exactly like that peanut butter cream in Nutter Butter cookies. So that is really tasty. I really love peanut butter, so I'm gonna give that a 7.5 out of 10. Really great. It was also a lot more dense than some of their other donuts. Celia Fennel, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but forgive me if I'm not. Asked, do you have any children? That's really great. Thank you, Celia, for your question. And the fact is that no, I don't have any kids. You'll see I don't have any wedding rings. I'm single, and yeah, I don't have any children. So I'm living as a bachelor by myself. We're gonna try the Oreo donut. Looks like it has a chocolate Oreo filling on the inside. Let's try that real quick. Very light. Almost like a chocolate marshmallow flavor to it. So the Oreo donut, I'm not sure that I like that one very much. It tastes kind of like a mediocre Bavarian cream donut. So that's kind of gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Probably not one that I would buy in the future. So a lot of people have asked me if I lift. With arms like this, how can you think that I don't? No. Well, like I said, I'm mainly an endurance athlete, so I don't lift a ton. But if you are interested to see the kinds of exercises that I do, you can follow me on Instagram. I got a link in the description. I try to post most days if I'm doing kind of an interesting exercise. It's mostly just kind of mentioning how far I'm running. All right, I'm gonna try this lemon cream donut. Yet another just kind of sweet, a little bit tart, a little bit sour, indistinct flavored filling. I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 10. Really not very good. Don't need to say much more about that. Now, this one I saw, really colorful, really popped out of the display case. Nice bright yellow. I love that flavor, or that color. That's super cool. This is their cake batter donut, so I'm hoping that the filling has some kind of cake batter flavor to it. Yeah, that tastes exactly like a birthday cake. I wasn't sure what to expect, but man, they nailed that flavor. Like, it tastes like frosting and a nice light cake. Now the thing about cake is that it is really light. It's not so dense like I like my donuts. So I think the Krispy Kreme style really light donuts complements that birthday cake flavor really well. So I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's mainly on just the fact that they nailed the flavor, but still they've really nailed it with this one. So there you go, 7.5 out of 10. So I didn't have any other questions that I wanted to get to today, but if you do want to see more questions answered in a further video down the line, please do leave a comment asking me what you'd like to know about me. So with that, I'm gonna try some more of these donuts. A strawberry iced donut with sprinkles. This totally reminds me of something that Homer Simpson would eat. So I've said it before that I don't like artificial flavors. If it says that it tastes like a strawberry, I want it to taste like a strawberry. And that tastes like a chemistry set. That tastes like chemicals. That is awful. I will never again get that donut. 2.5 out of 10, 3 out of 10. It was, oh man. Like maybe if you like artificial candy and just tooth-achingly sweet things, you might like that, but no thank you. Give that a pass. Chocolate iced cream filled. That filling tastes more like a whipped cream than a Bavarian cream. Kind of bland, not a ton of flavor in it. I'm gonna give that a 5 out of 10. Oh, we'll say 6 out of 10. I do like that chocolate cream on top. I think Krispy Kreme does have a good chocolate cream. So I saw that they had their special edition lemon glazed donuts. So we'll try that. Can taste a little bit of that lemon tartness, but not a ton. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, not too bad. A little bit better than just their plain glazed donuts. But again, it's that kind of really light donut that just disappears when you eat it. So next up, the apple fritter. Good old standby. Well, that certainly is an apple fritter. I don't think there's anything particularly special about it. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10, somewhere around there. Not too bad, but not the best apple fritter I've ever had. One thing that I noticed is that not a whole lot of differences in the textures or anything. It's just kind of fluffy throughout. Not a ton of, not a super interesting apple fritter in my opinion. So the last donut is the old-fashioned donut, of course. I am not pleased by that old-fashioned donut. Now, an old-fashioned is supposed to be like dense and heavy, and that was just way too light. So I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 10. Another miss, Krispy Kreme. So Krispy Kreme donuts, not my favorite. I think they are a little bit overrated, but hey, they're kind of cheap. I love the cookie donuts. I thought those were great. Especially this Chips Ahoy donut. Oh my goodness. If you see this in there, just get a dozen of those. That was fantastic. Now that I've tried all the donuts, now I gotta finish this thing off. Let's get eating. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. Like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them down below. And I'm planning on doing a second part to this with another brand of donuts. And until then, stay tuned. Peace out.